Volvo EX40 Black Edition, 2025, Review, The Silent Sweeney. Oh, the joys of running a black Volvo electric SUV. Pulling onto the A1M feels like a minor biblical event in this thing. I merge into the outside lane and it vacates before me like a line in the Red Sea. No questions asked, food's on the table, and I'm ravenous Moses, exploiting and possibly abusing his powers to get home before a reasonable cassoulet goes cold. The EX40 is a strong weapon of choice when you're in a hurry. The twin-motor version I'm in accelerates aggressively, but all the while with a sense of calm and quiet serenity. 2. Like it's quick but tied down. Dependable, predictable, safe, sounds like a Volvo. As I'm blasting down the motorway, putting RS3 drivers back on their P's and Q's through the fear of God. I find myself wondering whether the EX40 is the electric SUV. It sits above the quirky but impractical Volvo EX30 and below the gargantuan EX90 7-seater. Bit of a Goldilocks option. Then, imposing, with SUV authority but not so big that you weep for your bumpers around every multi-story car park. What about the Black Edition? Nothing more than a chic trimline. Though it does have its demonstrable perks when tea time calls and you're still the wrong side of Huntington. I'll get into the interior later in the review. To find out what the EX40 is like to live with. I had one on test for a week. Read on for the full review from Car. Or head over to our How We Test Cars page to find out how we do it. At a glance. Pros. Quality. Practical. Secure and stable. Cons. Changes feel lazy. Did not need more power. Interior feels old next to EX30. What's new? Well, the name is the main change, and signals the new branding that will be used across Volvo's electric cars. Kick-started by the dinky new EX30 and upcoming EX90, both hitting British roads in 2024. Volvo's previous, Recharge, naming dies a death, including on its plug-in hybrids, and in the process the XC40 becomes the EX40. While the coupe-styled C40 will now be known as the EC40. But there are a few other changes too, including a new over-the-air performance pack. Volvo's also getting all down with the kids with a new Black Edition trim level like the car we had on test. Bringing massive 20-inch alloys and full black styling. It certainly stands out in canvas white Swedish Lapland more than it will in a Sainsbury's car park. What are the specs? Here's a breakdown of the specs for each powertrain variant available on the EX40. Single motor 234 bhp and 310 lb-ft of torque. 0 to 62 miles per hour in 7.3 seconds. Top speed 112 miles per hour. 2040 kg, up to 296 mile range. Rear wheel drive. Single motor long range 249 bhp and 310 lb-ft of torque. 0 to 62 miles per hour in 7.3 seconds. Top speed 112 miles per hour. 2075 kg, up to 355 mile range. Rear wheel drive. Twin motor 402 bhp and 494 lb-ft of torque. 0 to 62 miles per hour in 4.8 seconds. Top speed 112 miles per hour. 2170 kg, up to 332 mile range. All-wheel drive. All cars are 4.440 millimeters in length, 1.873 millimeters wide and 1.647 millimeters tall. How does it drive? Nothing like a pair of keyed-up electric motors to remind you what proper balls-to-the-wall acceleration feels like. Bury your foot into the right pedal and the EX40 produces a gut-dropping fear factor takeoff that not so long ago was the preserve of supercars. The 0 to 62 miles per hour trick wears off after a couple of goes. But having the instantaneous power on tap was a joy for nippy maneuvers. The pull is brutal, startling to be honest, but also free from histrionics or agitation. The EX40 felt controlled and stable under pressure, which in turn allowed me to overtake with total confidence. A whiff of corner unraveled any pretenses of dynamic ability as the X40's steering is a little too blurry to entice much fun. It's light and quite splendid to use around town, but the wholly synthetic feel occasionally had us curious as to where all our hard steering effort was being laid down on the road. This is a car to waft around in effortlessly. It'll reward you for doing so with reassuring composure and total silence. The EX40 has just a single braking regeneration setting. It's a harsh one-pedal mode or nothing. With it engaged, the lightest of touches on the brake started killing speed in a hurry. It was useful in moments when we need to slow down sharpish, but quickly became a bit of a bore with a lot of jolty stop and start. An intermediate setting would have been preferable, one that didn't deploy the anchor quite as violently the moment we got off the accelerator. But no such setting exists. We drove the EX40 back-to-back with a smaller EX30. With that, there's the option to disable most elements of the ESC. And it gets pretty tail-happy as a result, and almost unruly given the opportunity. It's a far more relaxed and less entertaining affair with the X40. Again, reflective of those who will buy it. Get an EX30 if you want a bit of fun. Buy an EX40 to be sensible. What about the interior? Again, it's business as usual with the X40 and its interior. Any existing XC40 owners, or those driving any Volvo from the last 5 years, can resort to muscle memory for the controls. There's the now Android-powered infotainment system with useful inbuilt Google Maps fitted too, and various other services from the tech giant. As you might have guessed, Black Edition trim drenches the entire cabin in a dark black shade, which contrasts nicely against the white stitching also included. It sees the seats furnished in a soft Alcantara-like cloth, and the door pockets lined in felt. To our eyes it looks good. Premium even, but there's been no reinvention of the upholstery wheel here. It's just a black leather cabin, as merely an electric version of the XC40 rather than an all-new car like its smaller and bigger brother. The X40's dash is starting to look a bit old-fashioned. Quality is very good, save for a few plasticky buttons south of infotainment screen, and it's still among the most tasteful arrangements. But juxtaposed with the newer efforts, and it starts to look every bit an 8-year-old design. The infotainment system itself is clear and easy to use, but again is starting to show its age. The infotainment systems from rivals like BMW and Mercedes certainly feel crisper, more refined and more up-to-date. Room in the EX40 is generally good. There's plenty of shoulder room in the back for 2 adults. Plus rear leg room isn't bad either. But those in search of truly luxurious accommodation where heads and legs are concerned should size up to the X90. The EX40 also has a 410-liter boot with a 31-liter frunk, which is pretty mediocre for the class, given the BMW X1's boot can hold up to 490 liters with the seats up, though still considerably more than the 340 liters you get in the Mercedes EQA. Before you buy, with an updated Audi Q4 Sportback e-tron, BMW X2 and Mercedes EQA, the EX40 faces more competition than ever. Volvo's done a pretty good job at keeping the XC40 relevant, but buyers will likely be able to see through a name change. Prices start from £44.760 for a single motor core model. Black Edition cars start from £53.110, though they include more tech as standard along with the long-range single-motor variant, twin-motor EX40s, which are available in the Plus trim and up, start from £50.410. Black Edition twin motors start from £57.610 at the time of writing. Verdict: the EX40, even as it grows older despite its new name, is still a complete package backed up with what Volvo does best: style, safety and general practicality. Even so, we'll give it a full rating when we drive the car on tarmac. You can see why copy and paste, albeit with a font change, has been adopted given the XC40's huge success. But whether that's enough next to increasing competition from the Germans, and even Volvo's own X30 available at a significantly lower price, remains to be seen. Is the Black Edition worth it? Depends how doomy you'd like your Volvo to appear. But it's a good-looking car and we reckon the color suits it. Would be a tick on our order application.